Hey, this is Russ. You know how desperate I've become in trying to do something on a bike? Well, yesterday I took my wife's bike. She has a hybrid bike. Hybrid bike is kind of like a mountain bike, but has other things like other standard bikes. But anyways, she has an old Trek. I think it's called a Navigator 200 bike. And the last time we tried to ride together, this was probably at the end of the summer, maybe the beginning of fall. I think it was the end of summer, and so we rode together. But obviously, she can't keep up with me on an e-bike, so we go pretty slow. But she noticed that the brakes were kind of rubbing against the rim of her tire, constantly slowing her down. So essentially, it was giving additional resistance. So she was going really slow, and I think she rode maybe 3 miles on it, and she just said, "I can't ride any further." She was just so tired out from it, so she had to stop, and then I rode all the way back home, picked up her car, so that I could come back and pick her up. Because it's not an e-bike, it's relatively light in weight. I think it's probably like 30 pounds or something like that. So we were able to put it inside her SUV, and we were able to drive it back home. But I had promised her that I would fix the tires, or at least the brakes on the tires, so that it would function. So I ordered up brake pads, replacement brake pads, and just never did it. Because the way I looked at it, if she wasn't going to go on there and ride anyways with me, why should I change it? So I decided to do it in the middle of the winter. Yeah, I said, well, I'm not doing anything now, so let me just go ahead and change the brakes. So I didn't do it out in the garage because, like I said, it's like 8 degrees out there. So I put a tarp in the family room, and then pushed the bike into the family room, and worked on it there. And interestingly enough, I was able to fix the front brakes. They have spacers to kind of to put the brake pads, in alignment where it needs to be. So I had to take out a bunch of them. I'm surprised I had to do that. I don't know why it's doing that. And then when I got to the rear brake, I changed the rear brake and found that it wouldn't stop. Yeah, it wasn't giving enough pressure, and if I tried to adjust either the cable or move the the mechanism closer, it would just drag on the wheel. So I said, that's not right. So I put back her old rear brake, and it worked a lot better. Now, she hasn't ridden this bike that much. She really, I would say if this bike had 30 miles on it, I'd be surprised. Since she bought it like 20 something years ago, or whatever length of time it was. So the brake pads aren't really worn out. Of course, they're old, so rubber tends to deteriorate, but it wasn't that bad. So I decided I'm just going to leave the old brake on the rear because it stops well with it, and then the new brake pads on the front. So I got it running pretty much the way it should be doing, but yeah, that's how desperate I got. Okay, and of course, after I was done with hers, I wiped it down a little bit and everything, and I says, well, I should work on my bike. So, I brought my bike in, and then I didn't really need to do a whole lot of anything on my bike. I just decided, well, I didn't clean it perfectly, before the end of the season, so I wiped it all down, got all the dirt and the mud off of wherever it had splashed onto. And I noticed, too, when I tried to turn off the alarm started beeping on me, which told me that the batteries are essentially down. Now, here's an interesting thing. Those batteries were changed maybe about 3 weeks after I got the alarm system. I'll put a link to the alarm on the description in case you're interested in getting an alarm for your own bike. And the batteries that they give you are, the El Cheapo battery that comes with all devices, the ones that are probably made in China that, have a life expectancy of about a week. And that's about how long it lasted. It didn't last long. I think 2 or 3 weeks was maximum, and then it died. So here's what I'm going to tell you. If you buy one of these alarms, get rid of the batteries. Don't even bother with them, okay? Because you're going to be changing them out in about 2 to 3 weeks. Just put some decent batteries in there. Now, for me, as you know, I bought batteries during Black Friday, and they were They're either Rayovac batteries or they're the what was the other one? AC Delco batteries. Okay, I think these had the Rayovacs in there, and I find that those two battery brands are perfectly fine. So I stuck it in there, and it lasted the entire season until now. So you're talking, I would say, end of April until beginning of January. That's a long time. And I leave my alarm on all the time when I'm not riding. So when it's in the garage, the alarm is on. Okay. So finally, I think based on how long it's been, and of course it's out in the code, batteries don't work well in the code, but they're good for storage of batteries. I always leave my batteries in the refrigerator. So you don't really use them until they've warmed up a little bit. But of course, being on the bike, they're technically being used because it's in the on position the entire time. So it finally gave out. But I would say that's a long amount of time for usage for the alarm. Right? So I figured, okay, I'll change that. So I got it out of its little hiding place. And because I hide it on the bike in case it goes off. You don't want the intruder to know where the bike alarm is. So I had to redo the zip ties and everything like that I have mounting it on there, and change the battery on that. So I didn't turn the alarm on. I figured it's probably just going to wear out again because it's cold out there. So but I do lock up my bike in the garage. So as you know, I have two locks. Actually, I have two locks and one extra cable. So I didn't use the EBikes lock. I used the what is the a kryptonite, drawing a blank, kryptonite chain and padlock, and I lock both bikes together, and then I have a cable that I run to the front wheels, and I lock both front wheels together, and then it attaches to that lock thing. Now, if somebody comes in and has a bolt cutter, they can steal the front wheels pretty easy. I guess I should put the EBikes bike lock on my front wheel, so in case anyone comes in, they can't steal that either. But anyways, that's how desperate I had become. I had to do something on the bike. So now our bikes are all ready to go, but obviously we're not going to go anywhere. I know one of our viewers had asked me, when do you think you're going to be going out again? I'm going to guess it probably won't be until April. I mean, I can't see March being warm enough. But, if for some reason in March the temperature rises to around 60 degrees, I'll head out. So whenever 60 degrees happens again, I'll head out. Okay? So you can count on that. I think I'm desperate enough to be able to do it. I'll just bundle up a little bit. And the last time I rode in the cold weather, I had my jacket on, I had a sweatshirt on, I had a little knit cap on underneath my helmet. And so, I'll be heading out again. And then, of course, gloves. So, but, here's an interesting thing, too. I mentioned before that I had gotten a couple of gift certificates from Rad Power Bikes, from people who had ordered their Rad Power Bikes online, but used the discount code from me. There are new discount codes. They've gone back down to a $50 status. So I'll put that link also in the description of the videos. And I don't know if they keep changing them because somebody had tried to use the $100 code before and it didn't work. And then I was able to, on Christmas Day, give him a corrected code. And it did work. And so his $100 discount gave me a $100 as well. So I appreciate that very much. Thank you so much for that. So anyways, I'll put the new code in. Disregard any all codes that you'll see on the old videos. But as of this date, what date is today? January 7th, as I'm recording this. This is the current code, which will give you $50 discount on a bike. Now, they did raise the prices on some of the Rad Power Bikes. I mentioned that, at the end of December, they were going to do some price increases. And I think all I really noticed, and I haven't been paying attention to every model, but if anything, they went up maybe $100. And I know that they had a discount on Rad Rover 5s, which is the bike that I had. They had dropped that from $16.99 to $15.99, so it went back up to $16.99. So, the price increase happened, but they weren't like major price increases. They were probably at most about $100. And the new models, of course, did not go up in price because they were already like $2,000 bicycles, so they kept that the same. So interestingly, the Rad Rover 5, the one that I have, is still in the line as I kind of guessed they probably would do. Some people were estimating that they would drop that particular model when the Rad Rover 6 came out, but they didn't. And I had a gut feeling they wouldn't do it because they would leave a big price gap for people looking at that type of bike. It would force you into a $2,000 range. This way, if they keep that bike in there, you're now at $1,699, less $50 if you use the discount codes. So anyways, just wanted to mention that if you have an interest in buying a bike now, there's still a $50 discount available to you with the discount code in the description below. Other bike companies, of course, have bikes available now too, and everyone seems to be going through supply chain issues. I had read on one of the Facebook groups that somebody had ordered a Rad Power Bike, and they were substituting the Shimano derailleurs with another brand derailleur just so they can get the bikes out. Now, personally, I'm not a fan of that, because I think when you spend this kind of money and the description tells you you're going to get a Shimano, product on there, and you have a different type of derailleur on there, that's a big difference in my opinion. So my suggestion is, if you're going to look at this brand or any other brand, you may want to contact the company first and confirm with them which products are sitting on the bike before you actually place the order. Okay, so just a heads up for those who are thinking of buying a bike now so that they have a bike ready for spring. Okay, double check with them. So even though it's written on their websites, I call them or email them or something and try to get somebody to respond. Just say, are all of these specific parts on my bike? Check your brands of the brakes, check the brands of the derailleur, because they might be substituting less popular brands, let's put it that way, on your bike. And then that's a disappointment. You expect to see, a name brand like Shimano, and then it comes in with something else on there. And companies are doing that nowadays because they want to get the bikes out, but that's, to me, not what you're paying the money for. Okay. Anyways, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hopefully we'll be out on the bikes in a couple of months. I'll talk to you guys next time.